Yeah, I'll mention it to him tomorrow and
Ann, how you doing?
schedule some time to
Doing all
have a
right.
talk.
Yeah, just kind of
Good luck with
getting
that.
through. Each day is a new day, and from there.
Probably not.
Not gonna happen.
61 is a little young, I think.
Speed.
When my dad passed this fall, he was 78, and it
Oh,
still
that's
seems
still
young.
young.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
But 61 is another thing.
He's on dial.
Yeah.
They're not, other than
Yeah.
one more year between us.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I ended it okay. I just,
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. It's scary though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, enjoy the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the grandkids saw him, which was really good.
That's good.
Good.
let's get this party started.
We have a full minute,
Yeah.
Full minute.
4:59. I know you're chomping at the bit.
Let's get her done.
I have not been here for assignment of
Did you print one of these? I know you.
committee responsibilities, so like, is this like, do we like rock, paper, scissors if they get contested?
No.
You know, we just,
We go, hey, you wanna? Yeah, never mind.
We
Okay.
lightly negotiate.
yeah.
We lightly negotiate.
No feats of strength or.
We haven't had any yet.
We get our Festivus
Any
full.
feats of strength or
Or
any
need
need
for
for?
Need for.
Ah,
Oh, there we go.
It's 5 o'clock. Call the meeting to order.
So pumped. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, we have to start this meeting with our sort of reconstituting our board with the selection of a chairperson for this year.
I'd like to nominate Zach for the chair,
I will second that.
if he'll have it.
I was gonna say, are you?
I'm willing to
Either
continue.
way.
Zach is willing, I'm happy to support.
Any other discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so that is done. Ted, are you interested in continuing as vice chair?
Interested and willing if people will have me.
All right.
I will nominate Ted for vice chair.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Easy enough. Okay, committee assignments. Just switch to page 2 for just a moment here because we have our list of committees. Jason, you were the name on Village Water and Sewer. Are you interested in staying, and/or is anyone interested in either? Because we could have two technically, but joining or
I would like to continue.
usurping. I don't see anybody jumping up and down to unseat you, Jason. Planning board, Phil. So I always list myself as, or I have for the past 4 years, asked to be the alternate on planning board because I want to be on capital improvement committee.
Which is not required. You could, somebody else could be the alternate to the planning board, you could still be the select board representative to the CIP.
But that CIP is a planning board subcommittee.
It is. But it needs a select board representative, and it really could be
And
anyone.
it doesn't have to be the charter of the CIP does not say that it has to be.
I don't believe so.
If that's the case, I don't care about being alternate necessarily. I just want to make sure that I would like to be on CIP.
Is anybody chomping at the bit to be the planning board representative?
No.
Admittedly, it's the most painful one on this entire list because they.
And I'm a glutton for it, so.
Glad to hear it. Really, seriously, I am glad to hear it.
Yes.
It seems like nobody's pressuring you, Phil, on your primary role.
Okay.
I'm happy to do the very light alternate that I've been doing, which is Phil tells me he can't go and I go. But
fine with me.
otherwise,
Unless somebody else really wants it.
if somebody wanted to
Decide.
learn planning board or get involved, it is.
Jason sat on the planning board for a year as well, so he has some
and
experience.
Marianne sat on the planning board
Right.
for at
Okay.
least a year, maybe 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's experience to go around. It's
There's
really
plenty,
up to you.
So I'm happy to stay alternate unless someone else wants to learn.
Go for it, Zach.
All right, sounds good. School district.
I'm happy to continue on with both of those.
Great. Thanks, Ted.
Jason, Marianne, you want to stay as alternates?
Yeah.
You want to step
Yeah,
away as
okay.
alternates? You feel good?
Yeah.
Leave those. Conservation Commission?
I'd like to keep that one too. Any opposed?
No.
I nominate Zach for the CAP.
Phil, do you want to be the alternate to the Conservation Commission?
It can be, yeah.
You're on there now.
That's fine. I didn't realize I was an alternate to it, but I'm happy to do that.
LRPC, we have been appointing Bill and John. I think that continues to make sense. They've done good work for us there.
Does it matter that they're both now members of the planning board? For or against?
I actually think it's an advantage.
All right, as long as they're both willing, I'm happy to nominate both.
Yeah, I don't think we have to nominate,
John
because
and
we'll just
Bill.
have to, eventually they'll get their form from LRPC to
Yep.
re-extend, so.
Okay.
And Jason, I had you as the alternate. for-
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, Parks and Rec. Marianne, you still good with that?
Yeah. Happy. It's an easy one.
Nobody wants to get involved in Parks and Rec? Again, with most of these, we can always do alternates or whatever, too. Energy Commission, Phil?
I'm happy to if no one else wants to. Okay.
Sounds good to me. Advisory Budget, I would like to remain on Advisory Budget.
How many people can be on that?
You
Just
could have
one
2.
from the-
We can have 2 on Advisory Budget.
I'd like to, unless anybody.
Go for it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Chamber of Commerce. Marianne, you've been our rep to that.
I'm happy to, unless.
Yeah, you get to
When is
represent.
The PSU negotiating team, Scott, they don't have to have, don't they have to do that every year? PSU negotiations for the LSSA, is it 2 years, so
We
not
had a
until
2-year
28?
agreement, so it's not for a while.
Okay, I just,
We just ratified, so we get a by year on that one.
So, yeah, no LSSA this year, right?
And has built-in increases for university to pay back to the town.
okay.
Um, no, that was a good interruption. PERLAC, it's not technically a subcommittee of the select board. Bill Bolton, while we were on the select board, always reported back, and then he was very interested in continuing on with that, and we chose to continue his role there. I continue to be comfortable with that if we are collectively. And I think Bill still wants to serve. Police and Fire Building Assessment Committee, this is another one I would like to stay very involved with police and fire building, especially with Scott departing.
Is there an opportunity, well,
I'm on it currently. I would like to
Okay.
continue staying
Just
on it.
great.
strike out the assessment on that.
True.
Good.
And then union negotiations, do we have one this year?
No, it'd be in
This is a-
28.
This is a by year as well, so we can kind of strike
Is
that
it
one.
2028?
Yeah,
And that will be police and fire at that
that is
time.
correct.
They'll be aligned, yeah. And so that just leaves economic development, which is still relatively new.
Yes.
I'd still like to.
I'll talk about it when we get to the planning board, but the planning board nominated the same two only because there was interest by many parties, but because the committee is just getting off the
Yeah.
ground, we elected to keep the same
Keep some
people
continuity.
to get it until it's really kind of functioning.
I think that makes sense. So effectively, very little change here.
Mary Ann,
Yes.
are you staying with that?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll stay with that also.
Yeah, I support the continuity there. I think that makes a lot of sense.
I don't think, not an alternate, just on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Just on straight
Mary Ann
up.
Andreessen. Okay, great. Do
All
you
right.
need, do you need a motion to,
Nope, we're good on those.
okay.
They're mostly informal.
Right. Okay.
The only one that's like semi-formal is the planning board, and doesn't seem to be any objections.
I was gonna
so
say, isn't that,
we just
is the planning board the only one where there's a voting member, a seated
Correct.
voting member?
yeah, yeah. The rest are really just observer roles.
Okay.
I mean, some of the, like the budget committee or CIP, that's a more active role, but we don't really vote in those meetings.
Makes sense. I was wondering if it would make sense to have a select board on the ZBA, but because sometimes they're appealing our decisions, it probably would make sense not to.
I think it's incompatible.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Matt's still the chair of the planning board? Matt?
No, it's Molly McCann.
Molly.
Ah, interesting. Okay, thank you.
Molly and John as vice chair, and
And Tom Newcomb is going to run the
CIP.
CIP this year.
yeah, I have, actually, yeah, I'll get into that. And Matt is actually the non-recording secretary, so he's still an officer.
Oh, okay.
That's,
All right, so that gets us through selection of officers and committee assignments. Let's talk about minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the March 9th regular meeting minutes.
second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, quick announcements. The select board will meet on the following dates at 5 p.m. Monday, April 13th, Monday, April 27th. And any citizens wishing to be listed on the select board's agenda should notify town hall the Thursday before the scheduled meeting. And all meetings are held here in town hall upstairs and are also available by Zoom. You can find the Zoom information on the website, plymouthnh.gov. Scott, do you want to skip over yours and take our guests?
Absolutely.
Let's do that to get our real agenda kicked off this evening. So we have Chelsea Smith from New Hampshire Electric Co-op to introduce herself and meet us. Chelsea?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having us today. My name is Chelsea Smith. I'm here with New Hampshire Electric Co-op, and we had reached out to Scott just to do an introduction. We've had some changeover at the co-op with working with our municipalities and our large commercial accounts. So, again, we just wanted to meet everyone. Previously, I think some people here have worked with Bill Johnstone in the past. He has since retired as of January, and I have stepped into the role working with our large commercial, small commercial, and municipalities. Previously, I did 6 years working with our small commercial, so I think I had met Scott on a committee we had tried to work on for a Plymouth event and some other stuff, and I'm familiar with some other members on the board. So that's my intro. Couple of things that we wanted to just touch base on. I also have my colleague Sarah Thalbar here with me. She is our community relations specialist. And just some of the things I wanted to go over that I work on. I also work on our municipal communications during outages, which I think is very important to bring up during a meeting with the town. We have, and I brought some cards for everybody, these are specifically outage-related numbers for any time if the town needs to report wires down, tree on limbs, during a storm, etc. These are the contacts you want to reach out to. I will say, though, please share this with the town only. We have separate lines for residential, etc. This is specifically for town officials to reach out. Twice a year, we reach out and ask that any town officials update their contact information, or if there's been changeovers, just so we make sure we're reaching all the right people. Sarah and I both work on municipal communications. Additionally, I also work with our energy efficiency department, our energy solutions department, and one of the big projects we're working on is this building right here. So we've been working with Grace, I always say her name wrong, Grace Garvey?
Yep.
Okay. With the energy committee. She's been reaching out for some questions. My colleague in that department is Eric Sandberg. He's been communicating with her, working on the incentives, but it looks like there's some good opportunity there. So if you have any questions on that, please let me know. We can always talk about it more. Solar, I know you guys have a lot of solar in this town. Scott McNeil, who has been a contact, will be retiring this spring. Looking to fill that position, so in the meantime, if you need anything, please feel free to reach out to me, and I will work with you guys on the solar aspect until we have a replacement, of course. Those are the big things that I wanted to touch base on.
Please do.
I just want to, on the municipal communications, the outage line, Chelsea and I run that, so it's really, we just wanted to introduce ourselves so that you know we have a face to the name and all that. So we're the people that are going to be answering the phone. Anything related to the town accounts, Chelsea's your person. Anything related to community events, or like I know the welfare director probably deals with people that are having trouble paying their bills. that contact me. We have Project Care. Scott, I'm sure you're aware of Project Care, but, you know, and even if they don't apply for Project Care, the member solutions reps are always willing to make arrangements that meet people's needs. We know people are struggling, so. But really, you know, anything co-op related, it's me and Chelsea. So that was really just the main point of being here tonight, was to put a face in the name. Scott, I just heard you're retiring, so congratulations, but it's been great working with you, so.
I think with the energy audit where we are right now, we're just waiting for one more quote to come in for the
Okay.
work. We're very grateful for the grant that we've been working with Eric on, and how that will subsidize the cost of the project. So it will be moving forward after July 1st.
Good.
So the money was appropriated in this year's town budget and warrant article. So after we get this last quote in, which is hopefully this week, we'll have 4 quotes that we'll be working with and being able to provide additional information back to Eric on what that dollar amount is.
Great. You said July?
Yes.
And then is it okay if I give out a couple of these cards to you and distribute?
Absolutely.
I would think that Kevin and Steve would probably be good points of contact to have those, wouldn't they?
Yeah, we keep a big
We already,
database.
so what we have is we usually
Okay.
get a spreadsheet from the
Okay.
co-op and we fill in police chief, fire chief, all the, Steve, all the information. The select board goes on that sheet and I
Yeah.
update that. I think it's once a year we
Yeah.
update that.
At least. Sometimes I try for twice, but yes.
So that's been updated probably 6 months ago now.
Correct. Yes, you're absolutely right. I normally try spring and fall.
Yeah.
If you can leave your card with me, I
You will
will
distribute?
send you an email
Yeah.
as to our contacts, just so we can update that spreadsheet as well.
And then I'll give her the, I'll give you the outage information and you can send this as well.
Okay,
Does that work?
very good. Yep, thank
This
you.
will go, yeah, too, so this one here, this will go directly to Sarah and I. This one here, I would say, wires down, trees on wires. This goes out to control, excuse me, to our control center, they're on there 24/7. Control center. The other one you want.
Yeah, and that's what's on the card.
Okay,
Okay.
very good. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Any
you.
questions?
Yeah, it was great to meet. Any other questions from the board, please?
Yeah, I'm curious, are there any updates on net metering that the town could take advantage of? The Energy Commission is still interested in pursuing additional solar at some point. Are there any updates to net metering or any changes to rate structures we should be aware of?
Not at this time. The rates will be evaluated again in August for the rate change. Nothing has changed with net metering, though the process is,
Okay.
I think in the last year, it's at least been the same, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I was very appreciative and impressed with the agreement that came up for net metering, the Quincy Quincy Road
Yep.
array. That's, I think there was definitely some flexibility in making a very large single phase array interconnection there. So I think that should be noted, that the co-op kind of went above and beyond to accommodate that array for us, and I think that's great. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you, yes. Any other questions? Well, again, thank you so much for
Thank you.
having us.
Yeah,
and
thanks for coming
If
in.
you have any questions, please reach out. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you. Okay, let's loop back to Scott's report. Scott's final town manager's
Thank you.
report.
Oh, jeez.
Just an update and reminder on the road limit postings. We discussed at our last meeting that the following list of roads are posted for a 10-ton load limit during the period of March 7th through May 1st. The purpose of posting is to prevent unreasonable damage to the roadways, which may result in hazards to public safety and/or extraordinary maintenance expenses to the community. Bartlett Road, New Hebron Road, Old Hebron Road, Morse Road, Thurlow Street, Bell Road, Reservoir Road, Cummings Hill Road, Sanborn Road, Chason Road, Loon Lake Road, Parker Street, and Texas Hill Road. So next, my final report, a reflection on our shared progress. And I've really taken the last 2 weeks, and obviously I keep quite a lengthy log of the things that we work on, not only weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and yearly. And it's been a profound honor to serve as your town manager. As I prepare to transition from this role, I've spent time reflecting on the significant strides we have made together. Our focus has always been on ensuring that Plymouth remains a resilient, forward-looking, and vibrant community. Strategic milestones in infrastructure. Over the past year, we have moved several critical projects from the planning stages to the threshold of reality. Public safety facility. The collaborative work on the new public safety complex remains a cornerstone of long-term vision, with the land purchase being approved at town meeting. The efforts of the committee and the professional staff have ensured that our first responders will soon have a facility that matches the excellence of their service. Infrastructure and sustainability, from culvert replacements, road projects, to energy efficiency audits, and updates to town hall, we have prioritized projects to protect our environment and our taxpayers' wallets. University partnership, our continued collaboration with Plymouth State University regarding the life safety and police service agreements has strengthened the bond between the town and gown, ensuring mutual stability. Physical health and governance. The town of Plymouth is in a strong financial position. Though rigorous budget management and strategic financial planning, we have maintained essential services while preparing for future capital needs. Leadership continuity. I'm particularly proud of the leadership transitions within our departments. Seeing the seamless promotion of internal talent and the dignified retirement of long-serving chiefs demonstrates the strength of the municipal culture. Closing thoughts for the community. To the residents, thank you for your engagement, your high expectations, and your passion for the town. Whether at town meeting or in the grocery store, your input has been valuable. A note of gratitude to town staff. A town manager is only effective as the team surrounding them. To our department heads and staff, thank you for your tireless dedication. Select Board appreciation. I leave this office with deep respect for the Select Board and the many volunteers who serve our committees. I leave this position with great admiration for your dedication to public service and the deep appreciation for the kindness you've shown me during my time here. Thank you. I'm confident that Plymouth's best days are ahead, and I look forward to seeing the continued success of projects we have launched together. Thank you. There are many projects that we're working on. The Northern Borders Grant with the lighting feasibility study that Joseph is spearheading. The planned New Hampshire Charrette Project, Railroad Square, again, Joseph is spearheading that. The Highland Street Project that Steve and HEB engineers, but also the assistance of many other staff members to include Norma Jean Morrison and Ann. Hunt Road Culvert Project, we're waiting on FEMA approval with the amount of funding that will be provided, and Steve is working on that and spearheading it. The energy audit, receiving bids for work to be completed on audit findings, Jesse Jennings, Grace Garvey, and the Energy Commission. Emerson Street Construction, 2026. It was approved at town meeting, and Steve and Mike Vignali, our consulting engineer, will be moving that forward. And RFP for a new auditing firm, which is underway, and we actually have a meeting Thursday with the one firm that responded to the request for proposals. So I thank you for all the work that each one of you have done and our staff. Other than that, we did hold, in your packet, you have the PowerPoint presentation that was delivered to the department heads last week with regards to strategic grant management. I'm working with Abby Kendall, who did the presentation, to put a proposal together to assist the town with future grant management and opportunities that can arise. And the last thing with regards to the budget, we're 8 months into the budget, and we are absolutely on track for revenues and expenditures to date. So that concludes my report.
All right, any questions or comments for Scott?
My only question is, it seems in the past we've had some outside help writing grants. I would not expect grant writing to be a strong point the strongest point for many of our department chairs, and I'm wondering, is there anyone, not to disparage anyone, it would not be for me, and I suspect that it's probably not the best use of their time to write grants and do the research that's required for that. But is there somebody we could engage that you'd recommend, or is there any reason not to engage with local grant writers to assist our town staff in putting that information together?
I would suggest, whereas we've used Abby Kendall, who lives across the river in Holderness.
Great.
She put a nice presentation together.
Yep.
I will have a proposal from her,
Okay.
and I think she would be one that we would consult with. That's her forte,
Great.
is project management and grant writing.
Okay.
So, as I get additional information, I'll provide it to Ann, and the board
Yeah.
can make a decision to move forward. I think the cost is very reasonable for the work that she does. Very reasonable.
Especially if we're going after something in particular.
Yeah.
What's that?
If we have something in particular that we're going after,
Absolutely.
yeah.
What-
I mean, we've had some pretty good success, but Joseph has done really
Yes.
great work. We've seen stuff come out of the fire station that's been very effective. We just had, Steve and team just, recently got the dump truck, and
Yeah.
so our departments actually have been very successful.
Right.
But
It's
I
great.
agree that giving them additional support.
It's good to
is-
have, my
great
only
too.
thinking is it's
Yeah.
good to know who we can call on for that additional support.
I think the next step, and it will be part of her proposal, is really sitting with each department head and doing a gap analysis.
Yeah.
And really looking at, and it's not about applying for every grant that comes down the road, right? It's applying for grants that we've identified that are in the capital improvement program or in the master plan even. And really doing the gap analysis, sitting down and knowing what grants we're going to look for over the next 12 to 18 months. So I think that's the next process that should take place based on a proposal that will come for her. And I think the department heads, and Steve and Kevin can talk about it, felt her presentation was useful, and her services could be very much appreciated, because, as you said, department head sits down to write a grant, they get halfway through it, they get called away to go do something, they come back, and it's like, they close out of it, because it's overwhelming.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DES has
the
a
finding is a
page
big
of
piece.
funding opportunities, like they list every grant they have, like it's. Right, right, yeah, but it is, but it's, but there's a lot of money, it's not, I mean, it's time that's worth the investment. If we can connect with, a grant here or there that meets the needs of one of our existing CIP or other budget items, it's a huge offset for the town. Yeah, that's
This
great.
is something we evaluate as we go forward. Do we actually need an in-house grant writer?
I think
We
it
don't have
depends
to-
on what the gap analysis shows.
Okay.
Especially if we have, if Joseph is able to kind of, if he knows the process, he can help others, guide others through it as well.
But I think it's something we should continue with and move forward with and engage
Yep.
somebody who does it each and every day.
And Scott, you said you're going to have a proposal for us before you're
I'm sorry, what's-
you're going to have some sort of proposal for us before
Yes.
you're done?
Yeah.
Great. All right, anything else for Scott before we move on to appointments?
Only one thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, gratitude.
My pleasure.
Sure.
Yeah.
You've been a great asset to the town. I think all of the citizens should feel appreciation for the service you've provided to our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'd like to see you on the budget committee.
That's very good.
But you're still a resident.
Oh, that's very
All
good.
those in favor?
We do need a member of the public.
Yeah.
CIP committee needs a
Yeah.
member of the public.
He's like,
See my letter come across to you?
Oh,
Okay.
excellent. Good call, Ann. Very good.
I like peer pressure. It's good for sure. All right, let's. If there's no more questions for Scott, I already said nice things. I'm all worn out on nice things for Scott.
Nice out.
Let's look at appointments. First up, we've got Chief Pierce. This is for appointment as Director of Emergency Management. We have a pre-drafted letter from the board in our packet
There's also appointments attached. Seth.
with our formal appointments, which is both, actually it's both Kevin, we might as well cover both at the same time. It's both Kevin and Dan as the Deputy Emergency Management Director. So just quickly for the public, the letter we're talking about says, is addressed to Peter Llewellyn, the field representative at the New Hampshire Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. And the subject line is appointment of new Emergency Management Director and Deputy Emergency Management Director. Dear Peter, this letter is to inform you that the town recently hired Kevin Pierce as the new Emergency Management Director for the town of Plymouth. Mr. Pierce is projected to start on April 1st, 2026, but will be available anytime between now and his projected start. Then has contact information for both Chief Pierce and Deputy Chief Doucette, and then is signed, assuming it gets approved, by myself.
With that, I'll make a motion to appoint Kevin as the Director of Plymouth Emergency Management and follow that with a motion to appoint Dan as the Deputy.
Second.
I don't know if that's one motion or two motions. I'm confused about process there, but
Okay.
let's.
I'll second the other one,
There you go.
just in
Okay.
case.
Yeah,
there's
so
a
they're
question.
both seconded. So we'll vote on the first. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And then on the second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. We got them. We processed it through. We got unanimous votes. There's no worries. Do you have a?
It is coming around,
Okay.
and if you could sign the.
Yep. I just didn't want to sign the wrong one.
Sign it in blue.
I need to mess with Ann a little bit.
Love these blue pens, Ann, thank you.
No, that's Terry.
Well,
I'm gonna bring
they're
a-
blue.
I'm gonna bring a hot pink pen next
Mine's,
time.
mine's black, but you know. With photocopiers at this point, I'm not sure the blue and black really makes that much of a difference. Okay, we also have a reappointment to the Plymouth Energy Commission for John Lappy, which we've got a letter from, oh, there's two, thanks. Dear Chair Terrell and members of the Select Board, I've served on the Energy Commission since 2023 and as Secretary of the Commission since August of 2023. As my current term expires this April, I request reappointment to the Plymouth Energy Commission for a second term. And yep, that's
That's it.
that's it.
And he
Alright.
was recommended, I believe, by the Energy Commission.
He is a.
Oh, yes, that's what I was just finding in this email. Ashley says the Energy Commission supports their reappointment.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to reappoint John Lappy to the Plymouth Energy Commission.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
He is a valuable asset of the Energy Commission.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? I don't care. Next up, we have an appointment for Joan Turley to the Conservation Commission. And we have a letter from Joan Turley that says, Dear Office of the Select Board, this letter is to request renewal of my appointment to serve the Plymouth Conservation Commission as a full member. The Conservation Commission has discussed this and recommends my reappointment. And yes, that's
I'll make a motion to reappoint Joan Turley to the Plymouth Conservation Commission.
I'll second.
any discussion?
I can confirm that they did agree.
I was just double checking that myself. We have, I think we have supporting documentation for everybody, but finding it was complicated. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next up, we have a request from Melissa Eulery, also for reappointment to the Conservation Commission. Dear members of the Select Board, I'm ready to respectfully request reappointment to my position as a full member of the Plymouth Conservation Commission. I've greatly enjoyed serving the commission since joining as a board member 5 years ago. During this time, I've taken pride in the meaningful work we do to support our community through thoughtful stewardship, environmental protection, and conservation initiatives. It's been a privilege to contribute to projects that help preserve the natural character and resources of Plymouth. I'm also pleased to share that the Conservation Commission has voted and unanimously supports my reappointment to continue this work. Thank you for your consideration and for the support you provide the Commission and its mission. I would be honored to continue serving the town of Plymouth in this capacity.
I'll make a motion to reappoint Melissa Eulery to the Conservation Commission. And I can also confirm that they did vote to.
I will second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And next up is another reappointment to the Conservation Commission for Mike Mosley. Dear Conservation Commission and Office of the Select Board, this letter is to request appointment to serve on the Plymouth Conservation Commission as a full member. As a resident of Plymouth, I am invested in the responsible management of our natural resources and the development of recreation opportunities for our residents. By serving on the Conservation Commission, I can help the town meet its conservation goals. My background in trail management and outdoor recreation has given me a lot of relevant experience that will make me an asset to this group. I ask you to review this request letter and vote on my appointment.
I'll make a motion to appoint Mike Mosley as a full member to the Conservation Commission.
Second.
I was just double checking to see what that does in terms of the overall group. Does that add, or that adds
It should-
one?
It should bring them up to keeping them at 7.
Keeping them at 7. So who left?
Gigi left, correct?
Oh, wait.
She's not on this list, though.
She's not a full member.
Yeah, she was alternate.
Slade Warner is moving out of the town of Plymouth.
So so this is effectively Slade Warner's spot. Okay. And Mike Mosley was already an alternate.
Yep.
Okay. That was my only question. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? I think this is the original letter. Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay. Go. Okay, new purchase orders and grants. We've got the Highway Department, Ridgeway Construction Incorporated, a sweeper for summer services to sweep the town roads and parking lots. Scott, are you going to introduce this? You're going to have Steve do it since he's here with us this evening? Even better.
All right, so this is for the summer of '26. Reached out, and everyone else is like $200 an hour roughly, and they charge 3 hours. It's gonna be 3 hours of travel time. This is by far the best bet.
We've used Ridgeway the last 2 years for
This is the third year.
sweeping, and they've done a great job. And like Steve said, the rates are $180, $190, and $225 for Ridgeway. But the nice thing about Ridgeway is we'll get a full 8 hours of sweeping a day and not pay 3 hours of travel for the other two companies of what they wanted to charge us to come into Plymouth. So we've been very satisfied with Ridgeway Construction. I think it's reasonable, and it is budgeted in the 25-26 budget.
How does this compare to our costs from last year?
Same price.
I like that.
I'll make a motion to approve the award to Ridgeway Construction for sweeping services for the town roads and parking lots for $22,500.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
My only question was how much one costs if we were to buy one. And it looks like it's about at least 10 times our annual fee, and I'm not sure we would want to maintain one or store it, would we?
Right now, about $385 to $425 for a sweeper.
Okay.
And it would, I mean, you've got to have, you've got
Purchase.
to provide the labor,
Yeah.
the insurance, the maintenance.
Seems like a
We
good big
reviewed this.
contract.
a couple
Yeah, this
years
was,
ago.
it was a few
That's
years
okay.
ago, we had, yeah, no, it's
I
good.
wasn't
it's
here when we
good.
reviewed
No,
it, but-
it's a great question to
Yeah.
ask, because we,
It's a big fee every year.
wasn't that many years ago, was it, Steve, that we were
ago.
3 years ago, we were talking about, do we put on the warrant to buy a sweeper, or do we just continue with these contract services every year?
Only problem with this is if Ridgeway goes out, then it won't be, the outcome won't be so good. As long as we have Ridgeway, we'll be all set.
Yeah, because with the other ones, you're only getting 5-hour days, which means we would have to, it would take more days to get the work done.
Correct.
Yeah, which isn't ideal, but we still would probably
Compare and contrast that with the
compare and
cost of
contrast. It's
buying
probably
it.
still going to be not too far off.
Are there any rental services where we can rent these and operate them?
We've tried, and they're not as good.
Yeah, okay.
Machines aren't as good,
Maybe there's another opportunity for a grant.
maybe.
Say that again?
Maybe there's another opportunity for a grant.
Right. Especially if it's keeping salt and sand out of our waterways. Check DES.
Fair point.
I mean,
Because if we owned it, we could do it intermittently. You know, if we get a spring thaw before a
Sure.
rainstorm, like, you know, we could run up and down Highland Street a couple times to pick up salt and sand before it washes into waterways. Like, it's not there's a justified case to.
Yeah, the
apply
one
for
place we really liked having the sweeper was, you know, when we were having pirate party problems, and we could send it out to sweep up all the glass off the road. But we've kind of got that under control now. We don't have glass problems quite as often as we used
Get
to.
off all the gravel off the high school parking lot too. Get that back down to pavement. Sorry,
I know.
bad joke.
If only there was pavement there.
I know one thing we've talked about, like sharing resources with other towns in the
Yeah.
past. Is this something that we explored sharing with Ashland or
co-op.
Holders? The cost of
All of those towns right now contract out for sweeping.
yeah.
But it is something. I mean, if you could secure another grant for $200,000 or $300,000, it's well cost effective at that point.
Would it be difficult to, like, if we had 3 or 4 towns that went in on one, like, we'd have to have an agreement about who gets it when and for how long kind of thing, but like, you know,
That's the only
I presume
conflict, is that everybody wants to sweep around the same time.
right?
Yeah, so you,
Spring,
but I
right,
mean,
exactly.
that's-
How many days does it take, Steve, to get it all done?
Ridgeway's
Takes a
dealing with
week,
that
yeah.
themselves, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if it's owned by us or owned by Ridgeway, the demand, the staggering of demand for limited numbers of equipment is gonna be the same, no matter who owns it.
That's true, yeah.
Except they make us a priority.
Well,
How long does it take to sweep the town?
A week.
A week.
Yeah. So, I mean, 3-4 towns, you could probably get away with it because
Yeah.
you get it all done in,
month.
the month of May.
and I'm sure that, you know, some of the smaller towns around us might not do every road in town, right? But, you know, downtown Rumney, downtown Ashland, I'm not even sure if Holderness would need one.
Well, Ashland probably does the most
Yeah,
secondary to Plymouth.
right.
Steve, when you say a week, is that 40 hours or the 100 that were?
No, that's 40 hours.
because the 100 is for the whole year.
Okay, because it says summer services.
Sorry?
The purchase order says sweeper for summer services season.
Yep.
And it's 100 hours.
Yep.
They come in more than once. More
They
than-
come in more than one, okay,
The initial is the first full week.
okay,
And then they come in as Steve requests them to come in throughout the summer period.
okay. So it is more than, gotcha, thank you.
Have we used the full 100 hours in the past? I assume.
Good question. All right, any other discussion on this topic? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, let's get that one signed. The next thing we have is the Plymouth Professional Firefighters Association. We have a memorandum of understanding and a contract with them to sign. This is the one that was approved at town meeting, and we've collectively reviewed on many occasions at this point. No surprises here.
Do we get a motion for it, or?
Okay. I'll make a motion that we sign the Plymouth Professional Firefighters Memorandum of Understanding and Contract as approved in the recent town meeting.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Sorry, I did not vote on time, but I will say aye on that.
A delayed aye. Multitasking while
I was-
signing.
I could not speak and write at the same time.
I did that on literally the previous vote, so it's not surprising.
I didn't want anyone to accuse me of not voting for the contract.
Phil Emerald doesn't support the firefighters.
The easement, Blackie?
Don't say that. Don't even joke.
It basically was just redoing the projected turnaround,
Hammerhead.
but I don't have
I don't have
anything
anything either.
else, so we should do it on the 13th then.
So Zach, the next item, I'm sorry, I don't have the information, and Scott didn't have it either, so if we can push that out to the next meeting, please?
Page Street Hammerhead.
Yes.
It looks good to me initially, but without it, with other
All I saw
information.
was the map, but I don't see the
So we
easement.
met with Dale and Harry Blackie
Okay.
and Steve and Joseph and came to a agreement of how that turnaround spot would be changed from what it originally was in the site plan. So they've all agreed upon it, but I only have the diagram here.
So I remember when we were talking about this in the planning board a long time ago. It actually is, the easement's marked on this map.
It is, but we don't have the easement for you to.
Oh, we don't have the actual like written easement? Oh, okay. So we know where it is, we know roughly what it is, but we don't have the written
Any
details.
concerns of where the easement is being proposed?
Gotcha. Yeah, I was just thinking, if
As long as
we did have it and we could approve it, I just hate to hold up his construction.
Yeah, as long as it gives, as long as Steve agrees that there's sufficient room for the truck to turn around, to both dump snow and back out and turn around to get out without
he did.
having to back down Page
Yep.
Street, I'm comfortable with that.
Harry and Dale were very willing to make the changes that Steve needed for the plowing, the turnaround, and the dumping of the snow.
That gate's still there, right?
Yes,
Did I request it?
I believe so. Yes, 14-foot wide access gate. Yep, it's still there.
Which the plow driver will have a remote to open the gates and go through and push the snow to the right and then back out.
Good.
We'll let Dale know it's all right to go ahead and work on getting that easement together, and then we'll bring.
Yeah, I mean, if the question, if that's the question, if it's philosophical and not we're signing off on something, then yeah, I think we take a sense of the board. Phil's in support.
I'm in support.
I'm in support.
I'm in support.
I have no objections.
We have board support to proceed.
Yes.
We don't actually have anything technically to vote on, so let's motion it, but I think we're good. Encourage him to continue with his development. And so that brings us to the Plymouth Energy Commission to discuss bids for weatherization of Town Hall.
Everybody. Grace Garvey. Getting over a cold, excuse me. So as you may recall, there was an energy audit completed on the town hall back in December. We had met with the co-op ahead of time, Scott and Eric Sanborn and Sky Russell Hunt from LCI Energy, and they came back with an audit report, which had specific weatherization work recommended. Within that report was also a bid from Northeast Air Sealing out of Concord for a total cost of about $68,000 and change. At which point the co-op offered us a utility incentive of about 62% of the total installation cost of all the weatherization underneath that audit. Since then, we have reached out to three other contractors to get 3 other bids, 2 of which have come in and 1 we're still waiting on the 3rd. I did just talk to Jesse before I came here, and Jesse hasn't received the 3rd one. One was from Newell Craven, weatherization and insulation out of Loudon. So the one from Northeast Sealing was $68,000 and change. The one from Newell, which is pretty much the same comparatively in terms of what the weatherization work would be done, was $46,000 and change. So kind of significantly different. And then we got 2 from Yankee Thermal out of Rochester, which gave us kind of 2 different options, one of which was just more of removing old insulation and then more weather sealing of the tower. And so those bids from Yankee came in for $39,000 and $43,000. So pretty significantly different than the original cost from Northeast. The process now is we're just still waiting on the 3rd bid, actually the 4th bid from Quality Insulation. And I think with your blessing, we need to reach back out to the co-op to find out if they would also honor a 62% total match utility rebatement for the work based on which company we choose. Because it seems like, and Jesse feels really confident that right now the 3 bids are very comparable. I can't think of anything else. I can answer questions if you have any. I know so we've been approved through the budget at town meeting for $75,000. So it's no matter which way we,
which is great.
yeah, no matter which way we go, we're going to be under that. I can also forward or have Jesse forward whichever the 3 bids that we have so far, and then when we get the 4th from Quality, we can send that as well.
I think the right thing to do is to have, either Jesse or yourself bring forward the recommended, like you can bring the whole packet to us, but if you came forward and said, we're recommending this one, short of something extraordinary, that seems like the clean way for us to approve it.
Have to do a purchase order as well? Okay. And get whoever your recommended is, we'll get a W-9 and insurance certificate as well. So there's still just a little bit of paperwork.
Yeah, no biggie.
Sounds like if the last bid's supposed to be in by the 3rd, then that could be turned around by the next meeting.
Right, and we can't start any work until July 1.
Yeah, so we got plenty of time.
Yeah.
I'm actually, I know a lot of these contractors are actually kind of busy. I'm actually wondering
We might wanna
if
get
we
it done
reached out to
sooner.
them to get an idea of lead time of when they might be able to schedule work if we were to commit to a contract. My only concern is that, yes, we want to wait until after July 1st, but we want to get onto their calendars so that we can get this work done before the heating season starts.
And I mean, if Grace came in the last meeting in April with a purchase order, we could also do a letter of intent back to the company saying, this is what we're gonna do.
Right.
Just has to be after July 1st, and can you put us in your schedule calendar?
Right.
Before the end of October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Otherwise, it doesn't do us a lot of good.
Not this year anyway,
The other thing to be aware of is I know Yankee Thermal had talked about doing a significant amount of spray foam in which they're talking about potentially maybe taking up to a week of time to install all the spray foam, and the building really shouldn't be inhabited or worked in during that period of time. And I'm wondering, like, if we could schedule it for, the 4th of July week and ask town employees to work remotely during that time. That might be something to think about in advance.
Are the other companies
Or
doing lots of
Labor
spray
Day.
foaming or?
Right.
Or some other
any
day.
amount of spray foam is going to require that the building
Some
be-
off-gassing
Yeah, I
period.
think all the companies
Yeah.
require you to be, or most of the manufacturers recommend that you be out of the building for 24 hours after installation to allow the blowing agents to dissipate.
Yep.
They're better than they used to be, but it's really kind of an insurance issue, liability issue for them.
Mhm.
I was in my house 20 minutes after they were done, and I was fine.
See?
But I'm around it all the time.
So
So
you want
just,
to have Grace come back at the next meeting or the first meeting in
I
April?
mean, I think at the earliest convenience,
get
if everything comes together for next meeting, I think, we could get a letter of intent out sooner. If it takes, 4 weeks, then that's fine too.
I think the only unknown right now is how much the co-op would match.
Well, we just got
Or-
really great contact for the co-op. We
Yeah,
started our meeting with her
We
here.
met with her by Zoom, she and Eric Sanderson,
Should have
so
started with Grace.
I know, we should have started with Grace.
it's all good, yeah. Where is she? I mean,
Could have got her locked
She was
down
here, you
here.
missed it.
I know, I was late. So is it okay for us to reach out to the co-op and say, we've got these other bids, are you still going to honor us 62%? I think that's really, because
That
that will
sounds
give
like-
us more information about
You've been directly interfacing with them. You haven't been going through Scott or anything.
Jesse,
Yeah,
and-
I think, yes, then,
Brian, Phil, and I kind of been tag
Do what you've
teaming.
been doing.
yeah, keep doing what you're doing. It's working.
My only-
and
yeah.
they're,
My only recommendation is make sure Eric feels comfortable that the proposals that we're getting that are less cost are still going to provide them with the same amount of savings they need to justify the incentive that they had offered previously.
I think the best way to do that is provide the cost estimates. Is that appropriate?
And the description, just to, because if the description is significantly different than the work that they had.
and
kind
we
of
would care about that too,
pre-authorized.
though.
Yeah,
Because
right,
we don't want significantly less work done.
right.
Gotcha. All right.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Grace. All right, that takes us through all of our new and old business. On to signature file review.
I have Port of Timber, real taxes. The first one, gotta find out where it is. For some reason they don't tell me the location, but this was a report of cut for property 207, lot 10, and there was actually no cut reported, and that has been reviewed. Signing that off to get rid of the paperwork
So no cut reported means
means they didn't cut
They-
enough
they
to
submitted a
require
permit.
it, yes.
in
Yeah.
the middle, okay.
The next one is for map 221, lot 72. This is a warrant. $561.70 is due on this report. Next one is for map 240, lot 5. The amount that's due here is $41.61. Next item I have is a notice of intent to excavate. And this is for map 242, lot 1. This is Ambrose Brothers. Been reviewed by the assessors and staff. The next item I have is an MS 232, which is a report to the state of New Hampshire that everything passed at town meeting. And it's just a selectman sign off saying yes, they agree that everything was passed as proposed.
All right. We move to committee reports as the signatures slip through. Both of you.
What did I screw up on?
You just missed page 2.
Whoops.
You miss it, he misses it.
Yeah, both of you.
The sign here was Heidi.
I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna send this one back. We're gonna send a bunch back. Did we miss
I
another?
know,
Did we miss
same
another
time.
page? Yeah. All right, my bad. No, you're good. Sewer and water.
Water and sewer, yep.
So they had their meeting Thursday last week. They had 9 articles on voting. All of them passed. The biggest ones were an article for fairground road improvement, which the cost about $7 million, but they don't. For all these, they don't anticipate doing them unless they get grant funding for them. This is to replace piping in Fairgrounds Road because, as they're looking at it, the piping in there are original pipes from 1950 that are cast iron, so need to be worked on. Another one was on Langdon Street, about $5 million for improvement. They've been looking at working on this because some of their pipes from that one date back to 1910, 1920 time period, and then other pipes from 1950. So there might be lead connections in some of those piping also, so they're looking at getting that fixed. 3.5 for a sewer pump at Pump Station 4. This serves Tenny Mountain, Yetton, and the ski area. Yeah, Tenny Mountain Road, Yetton, and ski area. This is really important just for redoing that sewer pump because right now it's a single shaft, single person elevator that they have to go in and do work down in on it, and it's really difficult to get down there and haul equipment down to it. So they're looking at redoing that pump station in general. Reserve funds, operating things, and then they approved their operating budget for $5 million. Does not come from taxation though. So that was the budget meeting, and then their regular meeting. They're looking to add more solar to their systems, just because, it requires a lot of energy consumption in order to power their pumps. So looking at grants to offset, to get solars to offset the energy costs. And then the other thing I failed to mention, Malik Hammond was appointed as the new commissioner. So he's the new commissioner on that board.
Matt Hammond?
Malik.
Oh, Malik. Hammond. Oh, good.
Did they figure out who their moderator's going to be?
I don't remember off the top of my head. Yes, I want to say so, but I can't remember how it's going to work off the top of my head. They authorized their wastewater master plan. And one of the things that they've worked with is a grant from the state to replace lead pipes on customers' property. Basically, there's lead pipe connections. There's connections that happen, on the customer's property versus the lead pipes on the sewer and water. Generally, if it's on the customer's property, that is on the cost of the customer to replace. But they got grants from the state in order to replace it at no cost to the customer. So that's a very good thing to be happening. They're working on repairing the lining on Broadway and Highland, and put out an RFQ for engineering services for wastewater projects. And those are the highlights.
A lot going on at Water and Sewer.
That was,
Time of year.
a fair amount of stuff happening.
All right, on to planning.
So,
There's questions for Jason, sorry. On planning.
hearing no questions, the planning board did meet last Thursday, started off with election of officers. As I mentioned earlier, Molly McCann was voted chair. John Christ was voted to be vice chair. Matt Yetton is the non-recording secretary. Tom Newcomb was voted to be the CIP director chair. And then the Economic Development Committee appointments are Molly McCann and John Christ as well. We did discuss the request for comment on the potential of converting conservation easement land to road at Boulder Point to potentially serve, apparently there's a more discussion needs to be had about that, but apparently there was a conservation easement placed when the Walmart lot was developed, and this was kind of compensation. So it sounds like Habitat is hoping to create a different conservation easement to meet that need, with the idea of potentially using that existing conservation easement for road construction. So there's comment requested, and I don't think the board even decided. We were looking for more information from the Conservation Commission. And
Conservation
Where's the
Commission
road?
did review this.
okay.
Where's the proposed road?
We didn't even have a plan. I would have to look at the location of the conservation easement. It's, it's on the Boulder Point property at the top of,
Like a continuation of Boulder Point Drive, or?
I think they're hoping to access their property to the west,
There,
to the east.
to the east, it's the path, this is going back to fall, so bear with me. The path that they want to use partially goes over the existing conservation property.
The easement,
Yeah, the
Yeah.
easement.
yeah.
And what they're proposing is alternative, equal or better value conservation land
Within their development.
within, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the development.
Right.
It could be more or less anywhere, but, so in principle, the Conservation Commission was not opposed, without specifics.
I think that was kind of the consensus amongst the planning board. I don't think anybody really opposed it, but at the same time, there was also discussion that I believe DES holds an interest in that conservation easement, and they would have to buy into it as well.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And
Like I said, it's back from fall, so.
Which lot is that on that we're talking about? Is it the,
It's the one that the
It's the one that,
Mid-State's on and the Spear Hospital property, I think kind of goes on at the back.
yeah, that one that has like the big triangle off of it? This one.
I think there is some abutting
It goes
property
over to that.
that has concerns with it as well.
Oh, there are butters with concerns?
So, it was discussed. There was a continuation of a hearing for storage units, Stone Bluff on Yetton Road. There was, the applicant requested continuation to April 16th. Walmart had submitted a drawing of a revised site plan and asked if it was going to require review, and it was a significant change to their landscaping plan. The board decided that it would require site plan review, since it was a significant change to their landscaping plan. And then we discussed subdivision regulations and potential updates that the planning board would like to make. And the subdivision regulations have had minor changes over the years, but really they're almost unchanged for 20 or 30 years. Like, there are really several things in the subdivision regulations that should be updated, including, things like road standards and, how there was discussion of potentially creating a table of different requirements depending on the level of intensity of the subdivision. Like a minor subdivision, we might only require certain elements that are currently required for all subdivisions. And then, So, you know, a two-lot subdivision or a minor subdivision is pretty straightforward, and we really don't need as much information as a full subdivision. But then there are also, you know, major subdivisions without roads, or major subdivisions with roads. You know, each one could kind of have its own list of criteria for the application. So, the planning board will be working on revisions to the subdivision regulations, but the subdivision regulations and the site plan regulations are established by the planning board and can be amended simply with the public hearing and a vote of the board. So the zoning ordinance must be amended can only be amended by a vote of the town, but the subdivision and site plan regulations can be amended by the board.
Gotcha.
That's all for a planning board.
Any questions for Phil?
Who's on the planning board now? I just can't remember all the. Molly, Tom.
Yeah.
Bill?
Molly, John, Matt, Tom, myself, Bill Bolton,
Neil?
Yep.
Neil McIver.
Okay.
A lot of familiar faces. I would like to recognize that Sue is no longer on the board, but she was a great asset to both the planning board and the CIP committee. And
She was, yeah.
yeah, she was. It's unfortunate that she chose not to run. I think she's a great asset, and if there's an opportunity or need for alternates in the future, I would recommend Sue Wood. She's a experienced and valuable member of the board.
All right, Plymouth School.
Let's see, during this previous period, the elementary school did not meet, but the high school did meet last Tuesday at 5. They detailed, specifically, there was a student presentation for those who traveled to Capitol Hill in DC. This was part of Capitol Hill Day. It was something, and it was hard to get the specifics because they through it, but basically representing New Hampshire in conjunction with Special Olympics. This was at no cost to us. They met with all of our state reps, you know, Shaheen, Goodlander, drawing a blank. It's a nice presentation anyway. It was done, it's the guy.
Hassan?
Pappas?
Thank you. So they talked about it at the beginning, but they actually presented at the end. The students did the presentation. It was well done, well received by the board, and so a big shout out to them for that. They had a culinary arts event. It's on St. Patrick's Day for a corned beef and cabbage meal by the culinary students. Number of accomplishments by the theater. They received the All-Star Company Award, and several others like Excellence in Stage Management, Performance Recognition, etc. The states competition is scheduled, so they've made it to states. That's on April 10th and 11th at Guilford High School.
Which team? Or is this music? Or
Theater?
This is theater.
theater. Oh, great. Okay, sorry.
They had the winter semi-formal that was attended by over 300 students. Upcoming it was last week now. They had the cultural arts night, which is K through 12. And I don't know how it went, but I'm assuming it went fine.
Cultural Arts Night was great.
Excellent, thank you. Quiz Bowls Quiz Bowls Nationals, so they made nationals with the Quiz Bowl.
Nice.
And that's a trip that's on April 11th and 12th. And their next meeting is April 7th. And let's see, their voting results, all warrant articles passed, and in every town in SAU wide. And they also made mention that they wanted to emphasize that they strive to adhere to their internal 3% cap on their budget increase.
Nice.
And so that was it for the high school.
Can I make one comment?
Yeah, of course.
So Ellie England won states in cross country in Nordic. She, I think recently, just in the past couple of weeks, placed 7th at junior nationals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But that's nothing to sneeze at, and I thought that
Oh, that's crazy.
she should be recognized for her achievement. So congratulations to Ellie.
Good job.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Excellent.
Any questions for Ted on the high school? Conservation.
All right, Conservation Commission. Let's say we met again. It was last Tuesday at 7 instead of 5, so it was a busy night. We did have a guest speaker, a PSU student interested in talking about community involvement and doing more to help spread information about what he and other students could do for the local Plymouth community. Budget, no significant change. They were still waiting on the final report that would show the payment, I think, of the NRI, but that's the only thing that was really outstanding there. Trails Committee talked about presentations from their marketing class, helping them to publicize the trails. This led very well into what the guest speaker had been talking about. Also a trail stewardship class that was looking also to help publicize the trails. And they also approved a motion to start an Instagram account underneath the Plymouth Conservation Commission.
Are you be doing a TikTok next?
I think somebody mentioned that, but no one was interested.
Ted's going to do some dances.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what people
I could totally
wanted.
see what these trails look like in the 90s reel going, happening.
So there was some discussion about the land, specifically the Claybrook parcel that was donated to the town by the Favers, and specifically, some discussion on how state law RSA might apply here, and whether or not there is the ability to just sell it without a more extensive initiative under RSA 498:4-A and 547:3-D. I don't know the specifics of these particular things, but basically it spells out, at least is what they're contending, under what conditions it can be sold or can't be sold. And one of the things that they specifically talked about is what the intent of the donor was. So who donated the land and what they wanted. And there was discussion on, I guess the Favers really feel passionately about not selling it and wanting it to retain the use that they bequeathed. And so they were upset about it, and I just said, I think the select board has only at this point expressed a willingness to listen to what Fowl Link has proposed. We have not made any decisions, and so basically, please wait.
This is in reference to the Mayhew gentleman, and I think he's scheduled for April.
April 13th.
Yeah.
April 13th, he's coming back, so.
Yeah, and so right now there's no decisions made, so
Someone from the Conservation Committee coming then too, or?
my expectation is yes.
They've all been told when the
Okay.
meeting is, yes.
You know, and they also talked about, you know, part of the intent of this property is in conjunction with other parcels nearby to build a wildlife corridor that would be protected. So that was pretty much the summary of what we talked about.
Any questions for Ted in regards to Conservation Commission?
I have notes that came from various people, so if somebody wants them, I can absolutely share.
Well, you're going to be our expert on the 8th then.
There you go.
Capital improvement, no report. LRPC, hear anything from Bill?
Don't have
No
anything.
report. Parks and Rec?
We don't meet till the 8th. Next time we meet, yeah.
Energy Commission?
Has not met since our last meeting, except that a few members met to review bids, but that was not a quorum.
Okay. Advisory budget similarly has not met. Chamber of Commerce?
We met, let's see, March 12th, so that a couple weeks ago. They have found a new ED. Her name is Billy Agee, A-G-E-Y. She is from one of the co-owners of Cottage Place on Squam Lakes. So she's still, Maddie's still kind of transitioning, training, but I guess she was a very involved member anyway.
What was her first name?
Billy, B-I-L-L-I-E,
Okay,
and then A-G-E-Y.
okay, thank you.
An additional new board member, which is great, Chelsea Brown. They went through some potential offices for this coming, or 2027. They start in April. They're planning for the membership drive. They also talked about the annual meeting, which is scheduled in June for Owl's Nest. They're still looking for a sponsorship solicitation for that. Couple business after hours scheduled, Newfound Impressions, Squam Lake Association for May, as well as the Ashland Women's Committee. They talked about the Granite United Day of Caring, which I think the chamber took part of last year as well. And April they'll be doing a ribbon cutting for the new Plymouth Community Closet location. If you go down the road by the Grotto and Lucky Dog, right down there, a nice new spot. And so there'll be a ribbon cutting, and that is about it. Quick meeting.
Any questions for Marianne? Any note from Bill on Perlac?
What, I'm sorry, is that?
From Perlac? Anything? No. Police and Fire Building Committee, we have not met, but it seems like we should.
We probably should, since, that thing passed. So.
Approve that thing.
Of Dan.
up a meeting soon.
Okay.
I did hear from a previous owner of one of the parcels that there was a significant investment in a sewage ejector pump that is still there that should be of value if the town were to buy the property.
McDonald's. McDonald's.
Yes. Apparently, it's enough downhill that you have to have some kind of a pump to get the sewer to flow. But
Interesting.
he said it was a very robust pump and should still be serviceable.
Even though it's probably been just buried in the line there for years. When did McDonald's go out there?
I say
It's been a while.
That was my question. Is like, when was it not the McDonald's anymore?
It was a McDonald's when I was still working at the university, maybe 06.
I don't remember exactly when it changed, but it was.
It wasn't there when I moved into town or started working in town in 2012.
Yeah, me too. Right.
So sometime between 06 and 012.
Sometime between 06 and 012. I know it was there when my kids were like little,
Yeah.
but it wasn't there when they were teenagers. So
Did it have a play place?
No,
No, it did
no,
not.
it was a very crappy I mean, it was old.
Wow.
It was old. It was like an original feeling McDonald's. Like it was old. They actually went through one of those cycles where they painted it white. It was brick.
Oh, right.
And they painted all the brick white, and then it looked terrible. And then they painted all the brick red, and it looked even worse.
So then they just tore it down.
I really want one of those Mayor McCheese playground structures, if anybody knows where to find one.
Keep that in mind.
Nice.
Economic Development Committee.
We haven't met officially, the committee. We meet on the 6th. Although, actually, before this meeting, we typically have a pre-meeting to the meeting where myself, Molly, Joseph, and Avery get together to go over a list of outstanding items and setting the agenda for next time. It is all really about taking part in the Railroad Square charrette. We've got our questions, so we're going to, the idea is for us to take part in a lot of the pre-questioning, I guess, going out to stakeholders, maybe hanging at the dump, those type of things. We have a few questions to ask. Sue Cagle and her group set up an online form questionnaire, QR code. Molly and Joseph are working on posters and things like that that'll include that information on there. And I think we're going to, it hasn't been discussed yet with the group. We're talking about kind of, once again, setting up tables, the dump, Cafe Monte Alto, those kind of things, in addition to stakeholders, owners down there, and, garnering some information that the folks, when they actually come do the official meetings in May, they'll be able to take, public input and see what people would like to see down there. Yeah, it's kind of cool. The team's really engaged in this, so good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any questions for Mary Ann? Public comments.
Real quick, Grace Garvey, again, resident. So I just wanted you to, and you probably know, there's a third No Kings event coming up on Saturday from 9 to 11, and I'm working with the rec department to figure out just where we're going to be. We have our permits in order, insurance, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Is there going to be parking, like at the hockey rink or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
So we have permission to park at Foster's, the community garden, the Armory, the court, all of the senior center parking, and then further down in the dirt section on Green Street. And we're saying that there's alternative parking on High Street, Fox Park.
Did anyone ask if Common Man would run a shuttle from their parking? They've got the wedding shuttle. They could bus people down to the Common.
We could use more planners if you'd like to ask, Phil. No, we haven't. You have not.
Good answer.
I think my one connection is out of town for a few days.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good.
We have a safety plan, and I'll put that, send that to Kevin and Scott probably in the next day and a half.
Thanks, Grace.
Thank you, Grace.
Thanks, Grace. Any other public comments? I don't see anybody online.
Okay, with that, I'll make a motion to go into non-public according to RSA 91-A:3, number 2, A, personnel.
I'll second.
Jason, your vote.
Aye.
Phil.
Aye.
Zach. Aye. Ted.
Aye.
Mary Ann.
Aye.